Alrighty, what is up, guys? I am so happy to announce this is our first ever Mr. Pipeline podcast. We've been focusing a lot on the content side of things. We've been joining in other people's podcasts, but we found there's so much information to be shared with you all that we decided to create our own. So the biggest thing is we want ideas to flow and your revenue to grow. So I just wanted to go ahead and introduce a couple people who are going to be joining us as part of the Mr. Pipeline team. So we have Belen and Xzaiver as the account managers, and they're going to give you real world perspectives on what it's like, working with Mr. Pipeline, some of the things that they see, just to help, add some value to you guys. We also have Dave, who is one of our Google Ads specialists here. He's been with us through a long time. He has a lot of insights to share with you guys. So the biggest thing that we're going to discuss for today is going to be common mistakes that people make in their digital marketing efforts. So that can be, a great group of different things where people just think they can do it themselves. Maybe they just need a little bit more insight or that extra push to really be successful. So I wanted to go ahead and open that conversation. And, just starting with you, Belen. So as part of the account management team, what are some common mistakes that you see when you're talking with the clients, when you're building strategies? Let's go ahead and talk about that.
Hi everyone. This is Belen, as Jacob said, and I want to talk about setting and defining effective business goals because setting goals is essential for guiding your business and measuring success. And one of the pitfalls that clients make, like business owners make, is not having measurable goals set. So I want to use a term that we've been talking a couple of weeks ago, and it's to make your goals SMART. So that means specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. I have clients tell me, my goal is to make money, and that's great, of course. We'll work on bringing the leads and the clients and the money, but we need something more specific to work with.
And the biggest thing is when people team up with a marketing company, they always have these goals in mind and everyone wants to shoot for the stars, and that's great, but it's how are we going to reach the stars, right? So having something of not just doubling revenue year over year, it's okay, what is your revenue now? What is your average ticket price? And at what sort of time frame are you looking to be on track for that goal? So, marketing takes time. So it's important that you have something that's measurable. And it really helps you on the account management team as well, right? Because when you're communicating with the clients and you understand those goals, I feel like the relationship just works so much better. Things are flowing in the right direction. X, you had something to say?
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, I know how we were talking about the SMART goals last week as a team. I think that also we might be able to kind of use that with our clients too, because some of them, like Belen was saying, we might get like the goals back on the onboarding sheet, and it's not really any measurables on there. Like they say, we want to make more money, but I mean that's kind of everybody's goal, but to kind of make it measurable, give us a time frame and stuff like that, and it'll go hand in hand with what we do on our end. So I think that's something we can, kind of input too.
Yeah, and it really helps on the strategy side of things. So understanding those goals that are very in-depth, we can actually, build the strategy around that. So,
right.
Obviously, you want to shoot from the stars, but you want to be realistic as well. So that has to do with, the relevance of that goal. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, Belen. I love that insight. I feel like goal setting is so important, and especially, reconnecting and figuring out where you are in the progress of that goal.
True, and 100% what Xzaiver said. Like as an account manager, we always make sure that to send regular check-ins to review the monthly progress of each campaign. That's super important. We have a lot of options to really track our goals. So not only hey, I want more leads or more money. So we have many options to actually check our goals and reach them.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that insight. And, cost per lead is a big thing that we talk about. So, understanding what that cost per lead looks like and being that transparent factor. So when we build that strategy, when we try to double revenue, we set those SMART goals. We can really break it down for you to understand what it's going to take to reach those goals as well. So thank you so much for sharing that, Belen. I wanted to keep it on the account manager side. So I wanted to kick it off to Xzaiver. I know you had, a couple things that you wanted to bring up, common mistakes that people make. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, kind of a nice transition from the goal setting is to communication or lack thereof, with the clients and us, the account managers. So, like we were speaking earlier, we're the experts in our field, and the clients are the expert in their field. So, if
Mhm.
there's anything, gutter related, power washing, roofing, stuff like that, it's definitely vital to keep us in the loop. You know, if there's new products or if there's new, anything going on in the industry, because we can use that, when it comes to SEO and ads, because it's more information we could put on the ads or, social posts and stuff like that. Just the more content, the merrier. So that just helps us, do our job by, bringing the issues, or not really issues, but just new information from your industry to the forefront. So, we could definitely, use that to our advantage.
Yeah, and I feel like it has to be a constructive effort, right? It's build
Right.
better together. So if everybody's on the same page, it's the same thing with the goals. If everybody's on the same page, then you're working towards the end all goal in the same movement, right?
Right.
It's such a simple saying, right? Communication is key. If there's a lack of communication, there's going to be some sort of breaking point within the
Hmm.
relationship itself, and that works both ways. So we like to be proactive. We like to get on top or ahead of things while we're seeing them in the industry trends. So I love what you guys do on the account management side, always trying to be proactive with that
Right.
communication. And I feel like communication really goes in all sorts of different directions because a simple conversation can sort of change your perspective on things, right?
Hmm.
And it's so important that you learn from the ones that are doing it best. So,
Right.
it's really important meeting face to face with maybe other business owners, even though they might be your competition. They might know something or share some valuable information to you that you may have never gathered in the first place. So going to, conventions, shaking people's hand, being involved with the ones that do it best are so very important. And that's why, it's so important to actually have a physical relationship or a physical face-to-face conversation with somebody. Going to a convention like Gutter Summit is going to be something that could really, really take the business from maybe, they're doing 250,000 to $1 million because they know how to now achieve that.
Hmm.
So meeting with the industry professionals, I think, is so important. And if you own a gutter company and you're just staying at that same line of revenue and things just aren't building and building, you need to be involved in those types of conventions. So, I know Gutter Summit's coming up in October. So just something I really highly recommend to you guys if you're not already going. I want to talk to you, Dave, a little bit about the Google Ads side of things because I'm an account strategist here at Mr. Pipeline. I talk to a lot of people about marketing strategies before they start to actually work with the rest of our team. A lot of people try to do the campaigns themselves and they're sort of all over the place. So let's talk about that. What are some common mistakes that people make on the Google Ads side of things?
Sure. But right before we talk about this, I just wanted to piggyback on the conversation we were just having, just talking about how the account managers and having a good experience and keeping that line of communication open with the client is important as much for Google Ads, just because a lot of times if a client is running a service like epoxy flooring, for example, or a niche service, if they have those search terms that they're accustomed to searching for, or they know or some verbiage that they're accustomed to within the community, it'll help them a lot.
Hmm.
Um, Especially for us, if they share that information with us, it helps us out tremendously because it helps the Google Ads and it helps the campaign perform a lot better. So I just want to make sure that I mentioned that. As far as the mistakes that we see, there's a lot of mistakes that happens when business owners are trying to run it themselves. As we all know, this is a busy time. A lot of people are doing a lot of different things, especially business owners. If you're out on the field or you're even juggling and managing clients yourself, you might not have time to always be in front of the computer researching keywords or even looking at competitor analysis or anything like that. So that's
Right.
why you hire a company or an agency like us to go ahead and do those things for you, because those things are very daunting and can be very time consuming.
These is real dollars being spent, right? So every time
Hmm.
somebody clicks on your ad, you're going to get a cost. And what I see a lot, even I talk with these guys, I might look into their ads account just to kind of help them out. and they'll be targeting keywords that might be a product intent. So there might be a ton of search volume for that keyword, but it might be the wrong intent. So that's the biggest thing too, is understanding what the actual intent is of that search and understanding who's actually seeing your ads. And yet it goes from A to Z with communication, because if we're getting good feedback from the campaign, we're generating a lot of leads, but that communication isn't open from the client. Maybe they're not closing those leads for some reason. If you don't let us know, how are we going to get better for you? So that communication starts with the account management team, passes along to the Google Ads team, and everything comes full circle. So it all starts with that clear, concise communication. I just wanted to touch base on as well, a lot of guys that are trying to do it all themselves, trying to run their own ads campaign, trying to do all their own marketing, things of that nature. We live in such a great time. We live in a time of automation. It wasn't available 10 years ago. So if you're not automating your systems and processes, that time is now wasted, and time is money. So we need to make sure you're focusing your time and effort with what's going to really grow the business. So, getting involved in automations, getting even help on the back end. Maybe that might be costly. There's virtual assistants out there that can really just help do the admin tasks, right? There's even a company now, Secret Weapon. So they have been working with a lot of people that we work with. They've been handling their social media. They've been handling all their content, and it's such a low cost. And that's something, it's all about the right place at the right time. If you can be in front of that consumer at the right place and the right time, you're going to get that lead. So if it's just too overwhelming for you, automate it. Figure out how you can sort of get these system processes in place, so that way, you can spend your time where it's most valuable.
That's right. But I would chime in and say, even if you automate things, a lot of times, don't let it just run on its own. AI is becoming a very big thing these days, and it's very, it's blooming, and it's really converting very well. But as far as if you're thinking that you're just going to set up a campaign and set it to an automated campaign and then let it run for 6 months and not look at it, you will waste a lot of money.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like. People get poached a lot from these Google Ad representatives, right? Everybody's been contacted. Anybody that does a Google Ads campaign, they've all been poached.
They even called me.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
They offer like everything they have to the clients, and they don't want to hear it.
Right, exactly. And they're going to try to get you to auto apply recommendations, raise your budget, because at the end of the day, that's why they exist, to make Google more money. Exactly. You have to make sure you take as much control away from the platform that's trying to make money, and make sure you construct and restrict who's actually seeing those ads. So just launching a smart campaign on Google it just doesn't cut it. To be fully transparent with you guys. So
this is why having a clear, concise idea on what you want or what you're looking for in your campaign is going to be more beneficial for you the long term, especially in your pocket.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And that's the thing. At the end of each month, you should be evaluating the results. Something that we'd like to do is send a monthly report. Just overviewing what sort of results that you got, so you can understand how the campaign is actually performing without having to sit down and do hours of research, lifting over every stone to figure out what's working, what's not. And that's the benefit of working with a professional and having all the metrics and understanding those goals, and then building to where you can actually, double that revenue. So that was awesome. Yeah, I love the insight you guys all shared. There's so many mistakes that people make in marketing. It can be overwhelming at times. I feel like, we could all do that. But when we have a team that's working together and we see the goals that are clear, we have the effective communication, you have the optimizations and the performance measuring on the Google Ads sides, that's how you see performance. But yeah, I wanted to thank you guys so much for joining us in today's podcast. You guys all did amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that insight. If you guys have any other questions regarding common mistakes, I would love for you guys to share that with us. That way we can help add some value, talk about it more in the next podcast. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next one.